Welcome to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading on Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic trip planning still is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tyler, and joining me for another episode of the SnailTrail4x4 podcast is Jimmy Jet. How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you.
It's good.
Yeah. How are things over in your neck of the woods?
Pretty good.
Okay.
The air's a little thinner up here, but
Yeah.
you know, we deal with it.
Yep. That's why I get more oxygen. I have more energy. It's nice over here.
Yeah, down there, you mean?
I'll go with this. The north side of the building.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, dude, life's been pretty good. Had a good weekend. I think I got to go wheeling.
Okay. I definitely didn't. I did what I do every weekend.
Try to take over the world?
Try to drink the world.
Oh, okay, perfect. If you drink the world, then you'll never drown.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll just have the biggest flare up of gout known in world existence.
That's fine. If you're just what if all your joints become crystals? Does that make you a superhero of some kind? Or
Probably. That'd be awesome.
I would imagine.
I wonder if I could then just Spider-Man shoot crystals. Bam, bam.
Or Wolverine have crystals
just
come out between your joints.
Yeah. Too bad crystals aren't very strong. It's like, this is the worst superpower ever. Jeez.
Enough of that nonsense. Yeah, man. I think the weekend was good. We'll talk about that on Thursday.
Yeah.
We are coming up over halfway through the month here. We are over halfway through the month.
Oh yeah.
So that means you only have a couple weeks left to get in for the giveaway this month, which is one of the new braided hose kits from Morflate. So they're awesome. They're fantastic. They're really cool. They're lighter weight. They handle really well. They take heat really well.
And they look really good.
They do look really good.
They do.
Yeah, we got those available now, and you can win one this month by just getting into the giveaway tier over at iRate4x4 under the SnailTrail4x4 forum there. So, if you guys have any questions about how to do that, we've been doing the giveaway now 700 some odd episodes.
Yeah.
I think. So there's also a link in the show notes to get you there quicker and easier. You can do it from a mobile device or computer, whichever one you like. Just make sure that you are signed up before November 30th. That's where we're going.
30th.
So let's see. Snail Armor has started their Black Friday sales.
Yes, we have.
How long does it go through?
It goes through Cyber Monday.
Okay, so December 1st, I think that is.
I think so.
Morflate Black Friday sales start on Amazon November 20th and go through Cyber Monday.
Okay.
And then on our website, it's going to be November 24th through the following Monday. So December 6th. 7th.
Something like that.
Whatever that day is. So yeah, you'll have plenty of opportunity to get what you guys are looking for from Snail Armor and Morflate. And then we're also going to be doing a really fun shopping episode with holiday deals, holiday shopping ideas, gift ideas that you guys will be able to send your significant others.
Yeah, I think that's going to be next Monday.
I believe so. A week from today is the goal, is the plan. So be on the lookout for that to come out on Monday. We have our reviews.
Yes, we do. We have plenty of reviews already in, but we are always looking for more reviews because reviews are one of the best ways that you guys for free can help benefit the podcast. Reviews are one of them. Telling your best friends or other people around you or the guy that's in the car next to you while you're at that stoplight. If you tell them to go listen to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast, that's probably the number one way. Number two is leaving a review. It really helps us in the algorithm, helps us grow, and helps us get recognized. But if you go leave us a review, then we are benefiting you by giving away stuff at random. Mm-hmm. And so right now we're pretty much going every 50 reviews, we're giving away something. So once we hit 800 reviews coming up here, we're giving away an Onyx Elite membership. Once we reach 850 reviews, we're giving away another Onyx Elite membership. Mm-hmm. And once we get to 900 reviews, we're giving away about $1,000 worth of amazing stuff from Morphlate.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks, Morphlate.
Anytime, guys.
Yeah. One of the items included in that is the braided hoses that we're giving away this month.
Yep.
So you guys are going to have to battle for that braided hose kit. Whoever the winners are.
Yep.
Just kidding. We got multiple to give away, but then Tyler has a secret surprise that's coming out in a matter of weeks that people are testing. And then another big secret surprise coming out Q1 next year.
I guess technically we're going to have... We have one secret surprise that people are testing right now. We have another secret surprise that people are doing alpha testing on, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have the initial prototype, like very, very first prototype done. And it's going through design cleanup, I guess.
Okay.
And that one will also be included in this giveaway pack. And then the other thing is still in the design process.
And those three things, I don't even know what they are.
No.
So
I haven't even told Jimmy.
I'm just as excited as everybody else. I think I know what one of them is.
I'm pretty sure you know what
maybe
one.
two are.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, I'm excited to see and find out. I almost meant to ask you after the last time we recorded, like, what is it? I want to know. But no, I want to get surprised as well.
That's pretty cool. One of the projects is something that I've essentially made from scratch.
Oh,
which is pretty cool. A lot of the stuff, I mean, I don't want to say a lot, even the 4-tire hose kits are something that I've taken kind of like off the shelf products and combined them together in a new way, in a way that people haven't really done before, and then made the parts better from there. Right. So even the 4-tire hose kits started as kind of off the shelf parts I put together. This is something that I've started from scratch with an idea in my head, with the raw materials and creating a final product out of.
Okay.
So from start to finish, I had to learn a little bit of CAD to do it. I had to learn 3D printing to do it. I had to learn 3D printing materials.
Okay.
And plastic materials to do it. So, and then go through a lot of testing to figure out how to engineer it to be strong and withstand the forces that it's going to be under. So it was a really fun project, and it's about to be ready to launch.
All right. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And you can get a chance to win that, plus the other stuff, if you leave us a review. Once we get to 900 reviews, we'll do a drawing for all that stuff. But once we get to 800 and 850, we're going to do a random drawing, and we'll give away those elite memberships from Onyx Off-Road.
Yep. And I will say, and this is proof as to, I don't want to say how important reviews are for podcasts, but while on the last episode, last Thursday, we talked a little bit about the top 40 off-road podcast lists that just came out, and we were at the top. And I think that the engagement interaction that we get from you guys out there through reviews and through other things goes into creating those lists. And the more that we consistently show up at the top of these lists, the more that we can use that as ammo to work with companies to get you guys really cool stuff. So keep doing it. The more that you guys do reviews and whatnot, and it gives us just more ammo to get cool stuff for you guys later on for the giveaways and monthly stuff. So do it.
Just like December's giveaway is going to be, which we can't tell you yet, but it's going to be fun.
Yep.
And some lucky winner is going to get that as well. Yeah. I think besides that, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about events that were coming up. Winter Fun Fest is coming up in a matter within a month and a half or so.
About 2 months.
And signing up quick, filling up quick. Tyler said that his Snowcat run on Sunday was already full.
Yep.
So if you're thinking about going to Winter Fun Fest, which is a Cal4 event, a fundraiser for Cal4 Wheel, a benefit for them. So, you know, if you want to help out that somehow, go to the event. It definitely helps out. But if you're thinking about going just for funsies, that works too. But it's all filling up quick. So go sign up as soon as you can.
Cool. I think that's it. Do you know what your plans are for hammers yet, KOH?
I'm going to be going down. I don't know. I'm pretty certain I'm going to be taking the teardrop to stay in. Yeah. So I'm probably going to be taking Charlotte, and then, but I'm the last, it seems like I go every other year is what I do. So previous time I went down early, but left early. And I felt that I didn't get to interview enough people or do enough work while I was down there or network while I was down there. So this time I do think I'm going to be staying down during the main event. And maybe I'll stay a day late or something. I don't know.
I'm debating on whether we set up a night run again.
Oh. Yeah.
So a night run to Fisher or something.
Well, you need to buy a long trailer.
You need to buy a long trailer. Why?
So then I can put Bobcat on that.
That's okay. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense because you'd be taking the teardrop, so you might not be able to take Bobcat.
Right.
Okay. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. Or I just need a longer trailer so I could put Bobcat and the teardrop onto the trailer.
Yeah, that's a thing. Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out. We haven't even really looked too much at hammers yet. Morphlate will be there. We're going to be over next to the Warren booth this time.
Oh, fun.
So right across the entrance doors to the VIP and the media booth. We'll be right there.
Oh, perfect.
So fun little spot. We'll be able to go over and throw stuff at the back of Justin's head. From Factor 55 throughout the week. So we'll be over there this time rather than over by the bonfire. That has been solidified. And then the rest of it is kind of up in the air still. So
yeah. I think I want to throw this out there. We will do a night run only if Portal Pros goes and they bring a Toyota.
Ah, all right. I think that's a lofty goal.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Do they have access to a Toyota?
They got a Lexus. Aren't they putting portals on a Lexus soon?
Oh, are they? I
think they are.
I don't watch social media.
I know. Well, you guys know how to call in and tell us if it's going to happen or not.
All right. Cool.
On the second thing, while you're talking about that, did you see that Justin won the Jesse Combs Foundation's award?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, that was super cool.
Super cool. Yep. Good job, Justin. I think I shared it on my profile. SnailTrail4x4 about him winning and him talking about how he has a daughter and how she's inspired in all this stuff and all these people that have been nominated and Jessie herself that, started this because of Jessie that started this foundation that, it's just trying to raise awareness for ladies in the industry and how it's very impactful for him because he has a daughter that's involved in a lot of this stuff too, or is passionate about some of this stuff.
That was really nice of you. I think I posted a comment on that post, something along the lines of "That was my man crush." So I think that's I'm pretty sure that's what I did.
Yeah.
So
okay, good. TMI maybe.
Yeah. Okay. No, whatever. All right.
He'll never join us on the podcast.
He's
again
never
now.
coming back. Yeah.
But they do have a new, did you see their new Factor 55 Warren's new shackle? Snatch block? Yeah.
I did. I thought it was really cool the way that they outlined and showed the mechanical advantage angles on it, right? And the ratio at which you start getting your 1-to-1, 2-to-1s, etc. And between those. So if you're just pulling at a 45-degree angle to the snatch block, it's not a 2-to-1 advantage.
No.
But it's more than a 1-to-1.
Sure.
So
yeah.
It's anyways, I thought it was really neat. I thought it was very clever of them, essentially like putting almost like the instructions or tips and tricks onto the device itself. So we've done that with AirHub at Morphlate. And we have on, the screen is in the middle, the user display. And it on one side of it says to deflate, you do these 2 steps. On the other side, it says to inflate, you do these 2 steps.
Yeah.
We have found that people think that means the left side couplers for deflation and the right side couplers for inflation. I'm like, yeah. It's not what the intent of that was. Nope. You can use either side or both sides. You want to use both sides.
Right.
It'll help everything go much quicker, and you can use that for inflation or deflation through both sides. It's not one side or the other. But,
that's funny.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to
change that,
fix that communication. So
yeah.
Anyways, fun story about product development. Let's see. What else? Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think it's about time we close this chapter on planning a trip.
Yeah.
We have 2 primary topics to get through today. I think one of them is going to go fairly quick. We've talked a bit about it in the past. Yep. And then the last one's going to be just fun stuff to chat about. So yeah, I think that we'll finish part 3, or part 3 here will finish our planning a trip episode. And for those, I did have one person that was a little confused about where part 1 was, because part 2 came out like almost a month later.
Yeah, true.
646 was part 1. And then whatever 650, I think it was 3 was part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or 4, sorry, 654 was part 2. So there was a part 1.
Yeah.
And I put it in the show notes as well. Just they weren't together. So sorry about that. We just had other things we had to get to.
Yep. So this will be part 3. Sit down, buckle up, buttercup, as our friends over at Wheeling Wine and Whiskey would say, and we'll be right on back for part 3 of trip planning.
At 4-Wheel Underground, we have something for everyone's 79 through 04 Toyota vehicle. Whether you've got a Chevy Dana 60, 05 and up Super Duty, fabricated, FJ80, or mini truck axles, we got you covered. 3-link, 4-link, parallel, and triangulated suspension kits, we've got you covered. Under-bed coilover mounts, through-bed coilover mounts, trailing arms, cantilevers, custom-tuned coilovers, and air bumps, we've got you covered. Frame stiffeners, subframes, skid plates, shock towers, and more to come. Make sure to use coupon code SnailTrail at 4wheelunderground.com because we've got you covered.
Welcome back, ladies, mans, kids, gentle ladies, everybody out there. We are here today to finish up trip planning. So we've already broken it up into, what are things you need to check on to even start getting ready for a trip?
Yeah.
Like planning for the trip. And that was a lot of stuff like weather, land access, permitting, anything you need for that, location, geography to get to that location. Are you going all the way through or are you going in and out? That kind of stuff. And then it moved into, what are considerations you need to consider along that route, whether that is fuel, whether that's food, whether that's water, shelter, etc.
Contingency plans.
If shit does not go the way you mean it to go, what are you going to do? And then today is kind of like implementation. So while you're on that trip, what are things to do to help make sure these plans come to fruition? And I guess this is kind of the back end of contingency planning. So communications while you're out there, right?
Yep,
so
exactly.
We'll be kind of going over stuff today like communications, safety, coordination. So how do you coordinate with either people in your group, people outside of your group on the trail, just people in the general vicinity, etc. How do you know what's going on in the area, kind of thing, to trip execution and adapting while on your trip. If things don't all necessarily go to plan, but it's not like an emergency, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So say all of a sudden the weather changes on you. What do you do?
Right.
Or did you plan for that? I don't know. Hopefully you can consider these things so you can plan for it. So anyways, let's see. Where should we start here?
Well, I think, so let's start. In the last few episodes, we've been talking about the Doozy Ursham Trail and us going on a trip on the Doozy. Neither Tyler and I have done Doozy. So this was kind of just a fun game for us to play. And we've been talking about coordinating this trip, but we actually have not done any of this research to actually go through this trip and do, play along with this trip planning thing, as we say.
Yeah.
But so we've done a lot of how do we get to the trail? How do we get ourselves there? What do we need? How do we pack? Right. And then we've talked about executing the trail and being out on the trail. And that's pretty much where we ended. And that's where we are. So I think we should really start about communication and talking about how do you communicate on the trail? What do you need to do? Do you guys need to stay in a pack? Can you spread out more and go from there?
Yeah. Obviously my favorite option for that is ham radios.
Right.
But there's a lot of other really cool options out there that can help solve this problem of staying in contact and communication with your group. In my opinion, if you have at bare minimum the front of your group and the rear of your group in communication at all times, then you know where the rest of your group is, right? You're not going to get lost. You're not going to lose them. For the most part, you'll know if a problem happens because if somebody at the middle of the group breaks down, eventually the end of the group is going to catch up to them and be able to communicate that to the front of the group. And then the front of the group stops. Everybody catches up to the front of the group, and you can now communicate to everybody that's catching up to the person that broke down. Right.
Right.
So I think the front and end need to be in communication at all times. And you need to keep testing that communication as well. So every 2 or 3 minutes, hey, Jimmy, you still got ears on me?
Yep. Hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. And you keep going.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure. I think that's a definite communication needs to be involved in the front and back of the group. I kind of feel like you should, if you have the option to, you should run 2 channels, one for a general chat and BSing that's just sort of out to everybody, and then sort of another channel for just front to back. Because
logistical.
Just logistical information. Because sometimes you like people are just chatting and you just need to be like, hey, you still in touch? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's fair.
And you don't want to just get on top of people like, hey, I just want to talk to the person in the front real quick. I need to get in contact with Tyler. Tyler's still there? Yeah, stay here. Okay, guys, thanks. Go back to having your conversation.
Yeah.
And my experience, people are usually always talking on the radio if as long as it's not bothering the other people in the area, then there's always some sort of chatter and BSing going on. So to some extent, having 2 channels is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Whether that's you having 2 radios and one on each channel, or if your radio is available to have 2 channels, then I kind of like that. Yeah.
Plus, if you have 2 channels, you can, the front and back can make jokes and complain about other people in the middle of the line.
100%.
So, yeah. God, Nick, you broke down again.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's freaking Montanans.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
I thought you were going to talk about the Gladiator on 27s.
Oh, that Nick. That's a Nick thing. That Nick broke down again.
All of them.
All these Nicks.
Why do we wheel with Nicks?
I don't know. Well, that's a good question.
Yeah. No more. Never again.
I think the key point is that you need to have communications, and one of the most efficient ways to do that, and the point of having communications is to keep track of everybody so no one gets lost. Most efficient way to do that is to have bare minimum the front and the rear in communication with each other.
Yes.
Now, how do you go about accomplishing that?
Yeah.
There's obviously ham radio, which I'm a big fan of for that purpose. GMRS has made a big headway on usability for off-roaders, especially since 2017 when it kind of got all restructured and we can now use 50-watt power on some of the GMRS channels. There's the main radio companies in the off-road world have been getting into GMRS and giving more support into the GMRS space, such as Midland has been making a big push. Rugged Radios finally stepped up and is making a big push into GMRS. It sounds like Cobra.
Oh, really?
Might be making a push into GMRS here very shortly.
I heard that.
I
forgot who told me.
I think that they're just finally realizing that CB is a dead technology and you just can't do as much with it.
It was Wander Taco.
Oh,
Wander Taco got some radios from Cobra.
Oh, interesting.
And has them on his channel. And I was like, what? I didn't know that. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I had an old Cobra CB.
Yeah.
In
I think
Bobcat back in the day.
Anybody who had a CB probably had a Cobra at some point. They're a massive brand in the radio space. And in my opinion, if anybody could come in and take over the GMRS space, it's going to be Cobra.
Okay.
But we'll see how that plays out, see how far down the rabbit hole they take it. There's another really cool company, which I sent an email and CC'd you on it. I don't know if you noticed it or not.
I wrote something down to ask you about an individual. You CC'd me on an email, but
didn't mention it to
didn't
you
mention
at all.
the brand or company that it was about. Okay,
so this company is a very popular. Essentially, they call it CB, but in Australia. And mainly it's called a citizens band radio, which means it's open to average citizens, right?
Okay.
But the frequencies they run on are UHF frequencies.
Oh.
So if you want to conceptualize it and compare it to what we have in the United States, it's GMRS.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
So they're running UHF frequencies in Australia as their CB frequencies. And so essentially they're running GMRS. And so this company is called GME. And they do a lot of really cool work with digital protocols. So every single company that's in the GMRS space here in the United States is still doing analog transmitters, analog transmission, signal transmissions.
Okay.
GME specializes in digital transmissions, which means you can do a lot of really cool things because there's way more bandwidth you get to use, or at least the packets are way smaller, so you can put more packets into your signal.
Right.
To do more things with your signal.
And my understanding about GMRS is that it's primarily person to person.
Correct.
But there are repeaters with them.
For sure.
So does the repeater need to be digital also then?
So most any digital radios, they will have the ability to do analog repeaters. There are digital repeaters out there. But they are, especially in the GMRS space, very far and few. They're far and few with ham radio space.
Right.
But GMRS repeaters are typically a lot more abundant near cities and towns.
Yes.
So if you're going up into the mountains or into the wilderness, into a forest area, you're probably not going to see that many GMRS repeaters.
Yeah.
Except
on the Rubicon.
Except on the Rubicon, because Rubicon Short Foundation has put in the infrastructure and has deemed that radio comms is a very important thing to have.
Yep.
And invest in. So if you are looking at having a GMRS radio, you do have one, you're probably not going to use a repeater when you're out wheeling with your buddies. But the extra 50 watts of power does mean you can make a much stronger effective signal with your radio and your antenna system. Apparently GME has now launched in the United States.
Oh.
About 2 months ago.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't know that they had launched yet.
Yeah, but you talked about them about 2 months ago.
I've talked about them before. I think that they're doing some really cool stuff. They have some really cool technologies. And I was always like on the back of my mind, if I ever sell more Flate, or I'm just like, it gets to a point where it's just running and we're just cruising, we're not developing new shit anymore. What would be the next company I would do? And it was going to be a radio company.
Yeah.
And I think my ultimate goal would be to bring GME into the United States and start their distribution in the United States for them, or create my own radio company. But I'm like, they already have amazing radios, amazing technology. I think I'd rather just find a way to distribute them. Turns out they opened up distribution about 2 months ago. And within 2 months, one of the West Coast a retailer manager rep for them that's driving around the West Coast talking to people right now about it, found my name and got in contact with me.
Okay.
And so we ended up having about an hour-long discussion while I was driving up to Fordyce on Tuesday this week. So
and is that who you connected me with, the CC?
Yes. So that's Shannon.
Yes.
And then apparently they have their main marketing director is back in Australia, but he has been on 4-wheel drive 24/7 quite a bit.
Oh.
And he has his own podcast.
Oh.
That is apparently a pretty popular podcast. I wanted to say it was Overland Journal, but I think I'm just thinking of that because you mentioned it on the top 40 list recently. Yeah. I don't remember which podcast is his, but we're going to see if we can get him on the podcast to talk about all the cool things that GME does with their radios and technology. So anyways,
sounds good.
They're working in
future casting right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Future casting. You guys get to learn more about radios. Yay.
Yay. Maybe Alex from Botches can sit in for me.
That would be kind of fun.
Hey,
we'll just have him wear a Jimmy mask.
Yeah.
But anyways, so GME is coming in. They're doing some really cool stuff. And in the GMRS space. So you have multiple options now, a lot of pretty decent options in the United States, and they're growing. The more and more that off-roaders get into using GMRS radios, which is way easier to get into and be successful with right away than ham radio stuff.
Yes.
And for the most part, all intents and purposes, while you're off-roading, if you're just trying to talk to your buddies in your group and keep in touch with the front and the rear people in your line, GMRS is the way to go.
Yes.
Ham radio is really best for long-range emergency communications. But in my opinion, with how good Starlink has been getting,
Yep.
I would almost rather rely on a Starlink Mini, which is 12-volt native, works awesome with vehicles, as that emergency communication access than ham radio and repeaters.
Right. And even though Starlink is probably the most universal right now, cell phones are quickly adopting the satellite technology. And I think that is going to some extent, going to put the use as an emergency communication to the cell phone that has a satellite technology over a Starlink. I think the Starlink's still going to have its place because you're going to be able to do more data and watch videos in the middle of the night or whatever you want to do. It's going to be there. It's still going to be around. But I think in an emergency communication, somebody's going to pull their phone out and make that text message or call if they can.
Yeah, I agree. So, ham radio, it's great. I'm always going to have it because I'm a nerd and I like messing around with that kind of stuff. But for the average layperson, I don't think ham radio is worth getting into with how good GMRS stuff is getting for the average off-roader, I should say. So at bare minimum, get a GMRS license. You don't have to take a test. You just go to the FCC's website, pay $35 and say, give me my license. They give it to you. And then you can run all this stuff that these companies are coming out with to be able to have communications within your group to know where everybody's at.
Absolutely.
Right.
Whereas a ham radio, you have to take a test. You have to pay for the emission or the rights to the testing. I forgot how all that works. But
you're giving a donation to the testing team because they're spending their time, their gas. It's their money to put together testing supplies for you. So it's nice to give them a little spiff.
Yeah. And then every 10 years, you need to say you're still active.
Yep.
So that you can keep your license.
Yep.
And so it's a lot more, it has much more rules. It's more regulated, and it takes a little bit more time and studying to get the ham radio license. But like we were just saying, it is a much more effective emergency communication than GMRS.
For sure.
But in a way, I feel like you should almost have both if you can.
Yeah. That's ultimately the best option. The more options you have to communicate with people, the more likely you'll be able to when you need to.
Yep.
So the other cool stuff for keeping track of people options out there are APRS, which you need a ham radio license to do. It's a GPS location via radio signals. And then there's also now, oh my God, I'm blanking on it right now. Alex is going to kill me. Mesh network, Meshtastic. Meshtastic is another GPS radio location service that is open source. So you can build your own little nodes out of it. You can build vehicular nodes and hand them out to your group before going out on the trail at the trailhead or something, drivers meetings, etc. And keep track of your whole group without ever talking to each other, just through these little signal transponders. So there's some really cool options there. GME has a whole native location system, tracking system built into their radios.
Wow.
You just can't use it on GMRS waves because it's not part of the GMRS transmission protocols by the FCC. So they're fine. I talked with them about that and they said that they just have it turned off on their United States radios. Once they get the licensing figured out, the FCC, it's just a firmware update.
Oh, okay.
That they turn on the geolocation tracking stuff part of the radios. So,
okay.
That's coming up, I think, hopefully very soon with GME as they figure out the FCC stuff. So
nice.
Anyway, so that's options for tracking people. And then we talked about the Starlink satellite stuff. With the Mini, you can throw the Mini up on top of your vehicle and just have it run straight into your cigarette lighter. There's different options there. Garmin, if you really wanted to use your satellite messaging service and fees to keep in track with people in your group, you can. I think there's better options for that though. But
the Garmin InReach is another viable emergency communication.
For sure. Definitely viable emergency communications. So if you have something happen and need to get back in touch with society, it's a good way to go.
Yes, absolutely. What about comms in a big convoy, a big group? Like, do you organize it one way? Do you put let's just hypothetically say there's 50 of us going down Doozy.
Yeah.
Would you break them into smaller groups? Would you have comms from every that's touching every group? Would you like just still worry about front and rear? I mean, how would you like to organize that?
I would definitely split that group up into multiple groups, ideally about groups of 10.
Okay.
And a group of 50. And then each group kind of becomes in charge of its own communications. And each group needs to be able to be in talks with the group in front and the group behind them. And that would be your responsibilities in a group that big.
Yeah.
Doozy, there's not a whole lot like with ham radio on Doozy. There is a repeater. God, where is it? What is that repeater called? There's a repeater that a lot of the off-roaders use up in that area. But it's mainly covers the Red Mountain trails.
Okay.
More and Bald Mountain area trails better than Doozy. Doozy, there's not a whole lot of repeater access. So you're not going to be able to have like group 1 talking consistently and reliably with group 5, unless you had a Garmin InReach or Starlink with them or something like that.
Okay.
I've done this though on the Rubicon, where for some of one of the Mad Hatters runs one year, we had 32 vehicles, something like that. And so we split the group up into 3 groups.
Yeah.
We had the buggy group. They were just going to motor through and not really run the risk of breaking anything. And they could just, go at their pace and get to camp.
Yeah.
And reserve the campsites for everybody. Right.
Perfect.
Then we had the vehicle, the recreation vehicle group, not the buggy. Full bodies. Thank you. The full bodies that were built for the trail and have been on the trail before, knew what they were doing. They were in group 2. And then group 3 was the full body vehicles that had minimal experience on the trail. And they're probably going to be going pretty slow. They're probably going to need a lot of spotting. They might break stuff and have some issues.
Yeah.
But we split it up into those 3 groups that year. And that worked out really well. But all 3 groups were able to stay in contact with each other the whole time, just because the Rubicon has amazing repeater infrastructure.
Yes. Okay.
So, I would split them up into smaller groups, and then each group needs to be able to be in contact with other groups, so that if group 1 does need to get in touch with group 5 somehow, you can relay a message down the line.
Exactly.
If you need to. So
you're like, hey, I'm in group 1. Can I reach group 3?
Yeah.
Or 4, I can't reach 5. I need to relay that, so-and-so broke. So you guys are going to catch us.
Yeah. Whatever it is. So. Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah. So you sometimes need to get creative with how to communicate, but you need to be able to have communication.
Paper plate on a tree.
Yeah, exactly. Put paper plates out as you go down the trail.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah. Put a red plate on the left side when you turn left, and a green plate on the right side when you're turning right.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Is that it? Yeah. Too funny.
Yeah. So that would be kind of comms plan, quote unquote. I mean, it could be as simple as you're on an easy trail that day. Nobody should have any issues. And you're just going to say, hey, we're just going to drive for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then at the top of the hour, every hour we'll stop and wait for everybody to catch up. And that's your communication plan. If somebody doesn't catch up, you have to go back and find them. Right. So, maybe that's your communication plan for the day. Whatever it is, you need to have a way to keep track of everybody, know whether everyone's doing well, and be in touch with everybody and be aware. Right.
Yeah. We kind of did that this 2 weekends ago when we were up at the lake. When we were walking around the lake, Jimbo's oldest son, who's a freshman in high school now, wanted to run. Right?
Okay.
And we're like, okay, run to the dam.
Yeah.
And then turn around and run back to us. We just need to know you're still alive and you haven't fallen off the side of the mountain. Yeah. Right. Yep. Then you can run to the bridge and run back to us. Right. It's all, you just need this check-in. I just need I'm not going to have you run the whole thing and then wait at the end. No, you need to come back to us.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it was more or less the same scenario or same idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive for 2 hours. I'm going to stop on the trail and then I'm going to wait for you to catch me up or catch up to me. And then I'm going to drive on.
Exactly. Yep. So as long as you have that planned out and you communicate that check-in.
Yeah.
So that people can be kept track of, so that we don't have to call Nick from Montana to come find you
with your avalanche beacon.
Then and hopefully not just recover your body. Right. So, that's the main key. The main goal of emergency communications and protocols is to make sure you make it back home. Really.
Absolutely.
That's the ultimate goal. So as long as you're not getting lost, people aren't losing you, that people know you're alive. Like I was thinking about this yesterday while I was driving Fordyce with Reed, and how Gladiator Nick, talks with his kids. He'll just yell out, "Tori's still alive?" And it just like every 10 minutes he does it.
Yeah.
And no matter where she's at, she says, yes. And it does two things. A, it says she's still nearby, hasn't ran off. He knows where she is. She's in the vicinity.
Yeah. And
B, she's okay. She's still alive. She's making it back home. Right.
Yeah.
So that's a communication plan that they have.
Absolutely.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
What about like apps or testing your gear before you go out? Is there any once your radio is sort of set up, it's set up, but is there anything that you should test or concern yourself with or check your wires or maybe just like
test everything in my opinion? If you're going out with gear that you could potentially need to save your life or get you back home safely, you should be testing that before you go out. That's part of trip planning. 1000%.
Yes.
I'm always amazed. Like we have customers, granted, like airing up and airing down your tires is not like life or death out there.
Right.
But I am amazed as to how many customers we have at Morphlate that get their gear and then go out and try and use it out on the trail and leave the instructions at home and then don't know how to like set the compressor to inflate from the pressure and then have a terrible time with it, come back home and complain they couldn't get anything to work. And we're like, okay, just shoot us a video of what you're doing. And they send us a video and we're like, that's not how to do it. Did you read your instruction booklet? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Did you test it at all before you went? How'd you get on the trail and not know how to use this? And they're like, oh, I didn't test it. I assumed it would work. I was like, okay, all right, let's go through this really quick. Here's the instruction sheet. Now I'll walk through you with it.
One of the things I'm shocked about, I'm just going to piggyback on that, is even for snail armor, I have people like complaining about how the snail armor doesn't fit right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you messaging me before you've reviewed the instructions?
Yeah.
Like you would think like, this isn't right. I'm going to look at the instructions and see if I did something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't.
Yep.
They just go, this isn't right. I'm going to call and complain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you installed it wrong.
Yep.
Like that's not the order that you needed to do it all in.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be like, please like my response literally, if they email me, they're like, this doesn't fit because X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go review your instructions, period. Send, bye. I want to do that. I so want to do that, but you can't.
Yeah.
But, you got to be more polite. But yeah.
Was there something in the instructions that was not clear to you?
Yeah, that's what I should say. Was there, did I not bold this one part big enough for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that all said, I think that, test everything out.
Yeah.
Check it out. Make sure things are working. Have a friend with another radio across town or have your family member walk up the hill or cue the ham radio up, just do a radio check.
Yep.
Make sure that the wires are still all connected, if you can communicate while you're at home, you shouldn't have a problem out on the trail.
Correct.
How about apps? Are there any apps that you suggest? Not necessarily for emergency communication, but some guidance or just, I guess, some communication level at all?
For communication, in particular, I not that I can think of.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the day when Onyx Off-Road integrates some sort of radio connection. Maybe they'll get with GME and do a radio connection for geolocation / messaging or something. In terms of that, not really. There is, if you have a ham radio, then I would highly recommend downloading the app Repeater Book.
Okay.
Onto your cell phone, because that tells you where every known repeater is in the United States, or in the world. They have other countries as well. So that if you're out without cell service, you can pull open that app and it will take your GPS coordinates from your GPS receiver on your phone and pinpoint your location, tell you where the nearest repeaters are to you and what their information is to access them.
Right.
So that would be a very handy one. In order to utilize that, you need to know how to program your radio manually on the fly without a computer. Unless you brought your computer and laptop and programming cables and everything with you. Unlikely, but some people do it. So definitely a repeater book if you have ham radio. I think GMRS, my GMRS is the big repeater database. Repeater book has also started tracking GMRS repeaters. So I don't know if that's all included in the repeater book app, but I would make sense if they have it there. What other communications? I'm not sure how Meshtastic works because I still haven't gotten into it, but I would imagine they have apps available.
Yeah.
To be able to send messaging and track your buddies on a map overlay. If you have a Garmin in Reach, definitely make sure you have the app on your phone if it depends on your phone in order to run. Mm-hmm. And make sure that you test that before you go and that everything syncs and talks together. Because if you get out in the wild and all of a sudden you can't connect your phone to your Garmin, that's a big problem. If you have an APRS app and your phone needs to work with that in order to run APRS, that was something you need to double check and make sure you have ready and it's set. I have been noticing that a lot of apps nowadays are requiring like a user login.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In order to get into the app.
Yeah.
And like my freaking, the battery Bluetooth BMS monitor for the batteries in the Lance, they require you to log in, through a user login.
Yeah.
In order to view your batteries Bluetooth.
And you need internet.
And you need data in order to do that. So what I have to now mentally do is before I leave home with the Lance, if I know I'm going out to a place that's kind of spotty cell service, I pull open the battery app real quick and double check it, make sure I'm logged in before the trip. Cause it'll leave you logged in for 1 or 2 months, something like that.
Okay.
But I've gotten out there before and not been able to see what my batteries are doing. Because I can't get logged in because I didn't have internet.
Yep. Okay.
So just check that. There's apps that are doing that nowadays. My APRS radio app does that. I can't use the APRS radio unless I'm logged in, but it leaves you logged in for 1-2 months at a time, something like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's enough comms talk.
Yeah. I mean, we could always do more.
Scary. No, I think we should move over to the end of the trip for the most part. Execution, going out on the trail, and adaptation or changes if needed, and how you deal with those.
Yeah, I think that kind of all the trip planning so far kind of culminates in this, right? You've planned. You planned for contingencies. You planned for bad things happening, good things happening. You've planned for the weather. You planned for geographical issues. So now you're coming down to implementing your trip.
Yep, absolutely.
And how do you implement all these plans that you've done, that you've made and planned for, right? And I think that the big thing comes down to you have an idea of how you want this trip to work in your head.
Yeah, how you envision it happening. Yeah.
And if everything goes well, it's going to happen that way in your head. But what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
Or what if you're going along the way and you're like, that's a bitchin' fucking waterfall and I want to stay here for 2 days. Or there's a really cool lake up here. And I want to stay at this lake for 2 days and fuck everything else for the rest of the trip. Like, you could totally do that. That's your trip, right?
Yep.
What are your contingencies? How do you decide to do that? When do you do it? When do you make those decisions? And does that impact how you get home now? Kind of thing too. So
yeah.
Let's just say something comes up that's out of your control, right? It's like weather, a vehicle breaking down, medical emergency, somebody breaks an arm, I don't know, gets a concussion, sprained ankle, I don't know, whatever it is. How do you adjust your trip now for that? What things are we going to implement and use that we've kind of talked about over this 3-part series?
Yeah.
To now adjust for those things.
Well, I think in case of a medical emergency, which you kind of brought up, whenever, a lot of times when there's a medical emergency, I tell everybody like, this has now become a medical a concern about getting the person out.
It's now kind of like a recovery.
A recovery.
Oh,
yeah. This is and that's a great way to say it. This is now like a vehicle recovery or a personnel recovery trip. We are actively working to get out and get this person or vehicle to help.
So you're no longer changing you're now the scope of the trip has changed.
Yes.
You're no longer out there for fun and to have a good time and enjoy the time with your friends and family.
Unfortunately,
you're now the scope of the trip is to get this person some help.
Yes.
As quick as possible.
Yeah. And that all needs to be said. And I think one of the things I wanted to talk about before we jump a little deeper into this is, when you're planning your trip, I think you need to have like a group meeting, at least one, right? And say and get everybody on the same page and talk about all these things, that you've been planning and leading up to this trip. Another level to that is you need to sort of create leaders and people that are going to be like either leading the group or who's going to be in front and back and kind of preset some of that, or maybe a mid gunner. What do you call those guys? The middle people in the middle or whatever. Or, maybe you have a specific cooking leader or a specific camp host leader or a weather person.
Yeah.
You can create all these different roles if you really wanted to, or you just have the basic, like I'm the leader and
everybody do what I say.
And everybody does what I say.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, to some extent. But from that point, then if there's an injury, then you as leaders can figure out what needs to happen. Maybe if there's enough people, you go these 3 vehicles are going to take this person out and the rest of us are going to have our trip.
Yeah.
Or you take it to the whole group and be like, okay, little Timmy fell and hurt his leg and broke it. We need to get him out of here. Do we all want to go out or do we want to split the group? And, because one thing is I absolutely believe in the buddy system. So at least, it's like one person's not going to drive him out.
Yeah.
Right. At least 2 vehicles need to go or 2 people, and I would say 2 vehicles need to go. The rest of the group can continue on, but that should be left open to the group. If it's weather, the weather is an interesting one because when you're out there, you might not have service to see what the weather's going to be.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe you have a Starlink and maybe you can get communication or see data and satellites.
You have a ham radio. You can always tune to NOAA weather stations.
Yep. And I've used that in the past too. I've been out at Shasta Lake and queued into a weather station and because it was looking ominous around the lake and they were like, nope. They said it's going to be cloudy and windy and that's it. I'm like, okay, doesn't sound like it's going to rain.
Yep.
I was like, sweet. So there's the weather stations on the ham. I don't know if there's anything like that on GMRS.
It's a weather frequency that is always transmitting on 7 different frequencies nationwide. And there's different towers for anything.
Oh, okay.
It's on a frequency and technically it's outside of the ham bands, but almost all ham radios come with those frequencies programmed in for listening to. So you can tune in and listen to those frequencies.
Got it.
I don't know if GMRS radios come standard to listen to those frequencies or not, but if your radio is unlocked and you can have a frequency mode where you can tune to any frequency, you can tune to those frequencies and listen.
Yeah.
And so if I program radios for people, I always include the NOAA weather stations.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
If there is weather and you can figure out how long the weather's going to last or not, I think the question for that one really comes down to your planning and what your contingency plans. And hopefully you talked about this already.
Yep.
And then you can start executing what you guys discussed. And maybe, you're like, you get to a lake and you guys hunker down and you are just sitting around like a fire in a little lean-to or a little tarp over, the few of you that's sitting underneath there. And then that's when you discuss it.
Yeah, standing under a rooftop tent in the middle of a hailstorm in the Springs.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's when you discuss okay, if this continues on, how long do we want to be here? How long should we, maybe we're supposed to be off the trail in one day, but we don't want to drive, tomorrow. Or would everybody be okay staying another day? Right. And just that type of communication needs to happen so you can figure it out because maybe somebody does need to be off. And so either you're going to okay, you 3 rigs are going to drive that guy out of here because they need to be out of here, or we're all going,
Yeah.
or we're taking that dude's keys. I don't know. I think in these situations that we're talking about, the best answer, it more or less is you need to have the communication with your group to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah.
Because even you thinking about what might be the best solution, somebody else might come to the table with something that's a different idea that might be better.
For sure. I'm a big believer in the power of numbers when it comes to coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
The more people you can get together, the more better ideas you're going to come up with.
Sure.
So yeah, talk with the group and figure out, what is that bingo limit for people, at which point you call the trip and turn around and head out.
Right.
I've had to do that out on the Rubicon for out at Spider Lake. We were getting 50, 60 mile an hour sustained winds.
Yeah.
And gusts of, 70, 80. Everybody's tents were caving in. So finally we called it and wheeled out in the middle of the night. And then our vehicles almost got blown off the road going over the dam. Right. So it's just one of those things. We were just sitting around the fire, which we had extinguished by that time, because we're like, we're not going to send embers everywhere. And we were like, yeah, this sucks. This is unsafe now. We should probably just pack up and get out of here.
Yeah.
And that was the conversation, but at least we had that conversation. Like, people just didn't get up and leave and like on their own and took off, kind of thing. So, you still work as a group. You still are there to make sure that everybody makes it home. Right. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think to some, there's a gentle balance between the leaders and the group in those discussions.
And I think that, so when I was doing whitewater rafting, when it came to leaders and versus participants, so the guides versus the people that were there paying for the trips, right? One of the things that always resounded with me from my boss was, your job as the head guide is to not necessarily make sure everything stays together. Your job is to protect the participants from the other guides and keep morale high. In other words, let the other guides deal with the actual problems. Your job is to protect the trip so that the morale stays high on everything.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was trying to think of a way instead of just being like abrupt about how to change it to morale. I do agree that the morale needs to be high. That's one of the jobs of leadership, is to keep the morale high. Yeah.
And like, I remember the one time we were going through the Rubicon, it was the glue tread trip, and the hikers of women were coming through.
Oh yeah.
Dude, some of those women were in rough shape.
Yes.
And they were not happy.
No.
And you could tell by them walking by us at Little Sluice that the morale was not super high with the group.
Nope.
And
not at all.
So we're like, we're trying to cheer them up. We're trying to talk with them, and you guys are having a good time out here, right? You're on the Rubicon Trail hiking around. You guys are going to go camp in Desolation. That's awesome. Have a great time. And like, there was a couple older ladies that were really struggling. So we offered to carry their packs a little ways, and the leaders of the group turned around and told us to leave because we were killing the mood.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know, the mood seemed pretty dead before we started interacting with you guys.
Yeah.
But I was like looking at that and comparing it back to my rafting days as a guide. And I'm like, those guides, those leaders are completely failing right now at making sure that their trip and their participants are having a great time.
Right.
And if you can keep morale up, there's a lot of shit that the human being can deal with.
And there's
if they're in a good mental space, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you will forget or overlook that went wrong because you were having still a good time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that morale is something that if you can manage that while you're on a trip and plan, either have a plan for who is going to be in charge of that, or like, there's a lot of trips where like we're out on, and I'm like, Jimmy's awesome in public. He's not that great in private, but in public, it's just, I'm just kidding. I was like,
behind closed doors
in a recording studio. I was like, you do a really good job at keeping morale high all the time. you're just a really fun guy. And then especially once you start drinking around a campfire,
apparently
morale gets even higher, right?
Yeah.
So I know that when I'm on a trip with a lot of people and you're on the same trip, I'm like, oh, good. I don't have to worry about that as much because Jimmy just does it naturally.
Okay.
But there's definitely like, there's trips out there where you need to make sure everybody's having a good time. And that goes so long with making sure that the trip is successful.
Right. And so what are some good ways to keep morale high? Because the one that I think I do just sort of naturally is I just check in with people.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just a constant, like, how's it going? You guys, what are you up to? What'd you think of that obstacle? You know, how's your rig doing? Is it performing like you expected? Just sort of generic, basic questions to just get them talking and sort of a positive attitude, right? Like, that was awesome. You know, like, I can't believe I just drove over that entire person or whatever. Just kidding. You know, or just, I can't believe Whalebones was nuts. That was the steepest I think I've ever had my vehicle, you know, just, you know, and then you're like, I know it's wild. You just can just continue the energy. And I think that's sort of how I do it. It's just through questions and positive interactions. Do you have any other ideas on like kind of how to do stuff like that?
I think that goes a long way to doing it. And I think that constantly making sure that everybody in the group is checked in with it does go a long way. Even if it's just something like, man, how's the day going so far?
Yeah.
Or, hey, how's it been since lunch?
Right.
Or, hey, we got lunch coming up here. We'll probably stop in about 10, 15 minutes. You doing good?
Yep.
And just checking in with people. People just don't want to be left behind, right? They don't want to be left out
they want to be
the circle as well, right?
Yeah.
People want to be included. And so just making sure that people feel included, it goes a really long way. It's the simplest thing you can do to keep morale high, in my opinion. I think back to my tennis days as one of the sales reps in California here. And we did a lot of events. And one of the biggest things that I quickly realized was that people who did not have fun at the events were typically the people that were quiet and they didn't get interacted with.
Sure.
And so I made it very quickly. I think after towards the end of the first summer, I made it a point to seek out those quiet individuals at events, the people that were standing back and not being like super interactive and not really partaking a lot in the event, and just went up and hung out with them. While if they didn't really want to be a center of attention, I still went out and gave them attention while other people got to be the center of attention kind of thing. Right. And that went such a long ways to just helping people feel included and keeping the overall morale of the event very high.
Sure.
So inclusivity. I think is the main point there.
I think so too. And there's a lot you can do. There's a lot of different ways that you can figure out how to include people, whether it's talking about their rig, talking about their trip, talking about where they're from, talking about a book they're reading, right? You can do any of it. I knew the mini assistant one time said, Daddy, how can you talk to everybody? Right. And I said, you just need to find something to talk to them about.
Yeah.
And something like if you know something and they're doing something, like you can find a commonality and then you talk about that.
Yeah.
Like if we're off-roading, you all like off-roading.
Yep.
Like you all have different vehicles, or even if you are all driving the same sort of vehicle, somebody's done a modification on that vehicle that is not on other vehicles out here. Right. Or like, what are they cooking for dinner? Like, I'm super hungry. What are you going to eat for dinner tonight? Like, you know, I'm only having popcorn and peanut butter and jelly. Like, I sure wish I was having a steak. Wink, wink. Yeah. But
that's really why Jimmy talks to everybody on trips.
How many beers did you bring? Because I only brought one. But I do think, in what's the damn word? Thank you. Yeah. That is a key way to keeping morale high and and just chatting with everybody. Helping people out is also a really good way. Yeah. Right. Because to some extent, like if you're seeing somebody pulled out all their recovery equipment, like if you just go and help them clean it up, that helps. He's a little happier. I didn't have to do that all by myself. Yep. You know, Tyler came over and helped me and he did a better job than I've ever done. I normally throw it in the bag. You know, he dusted everything off. It was amazing. Yep.
There are a lot of times that I notice this a lot with off-roaders. We tend to be very, we have the perspective of ourselves that we are very self-reliant people.
Yes.
Right.
Sure.
And so if we're trying to put up a tent and we're struggling or something, we won't ask for help. And not only that, but we'll probably deny help if it comes around and somebody says, oh, looks like you're having a hard time. Do you want any help with that? You'll usually just be, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'll get it eventually kind of thing.
Yeah,
here.
sure.
We tend to be very hard-headed people that like hitting our heads against a wall, right?
Yeah.
So in another way that you could approach that situation is, oh, dude, this is a cool tent. I've never seen one like this. Can I help you put it up?
Right.
And that comes off so much better than, hey, you're struggling and you're pointing it out. They're struggling now. And, hey, can I help you?
Yeah.
It's like, we're off-roaders. We don't want help.
Yeah.
But instead you just be like, hey, this is kind of something I wish I knew more about this. Can I help you set up so I learn more about this tent? Or, oh, how are you starting that fire? I've always wanted to learn new ways to start fires. Can I watch you and help you start the fire?
Yep.
There's different ways to approach things, especially with off-roaders that you can come across as, and just the different way that you say it and frame it, to again, help keep morale high, as well as starting conversation, interacting with people without trying to be like, yo, you're failing at this tent thing. Let me do this for you kind of thing.
Well,
right?
and that goes with any level of that, right? Like
for sure.
You see somebody struggling in an obstacle, you just be like, hey, you want me to throw a rock right there?
Yeah.
Or you want a little guidance, or,
I wouldn't even pose it as,
well, that's what I'm saying. So there's a positive way and a negative way to state some of those things, right? Where the positive way is like, man, you're so close.
Let me throw this rock here.
Yeah, but just turn a little driver. I think you're going to get it,
Yeah.
And then you're enticing them to, you're helping them, you're cheering them on, and you're like, no, but if you just go this way, you're going to do it. And you're like, oh, look, you did it. Woo! Like, yeah, you're welcome. I just directed you up the mountain. Like, but there's definitely an encouraging way to say things, and then, a negative or discouraging way to say some of those things. And that's, definitely a good morale booster to some extent too.
Yeah.
I think having, now that we're talking about this, I think one of the things is just having more energy than them, I think is also a morale boost.
Yeah.
Right. If you're just
people
more
feed off the energy for sure.
Like more ecstatic, or, more energy, and you're running around and you're doing whatever, then, everybody else is just going to be a little bit happier to some extent. But, yeah. So, anything else on these?
Not necessarily on the trip. I think that just kind of being cued into the people in your group, and whether they're struggling at that time, whether they need help, whether they don't need help, whether the morale is high, whether somebody's really, really down because they fucked something up, and you just got to be like, dude, it's all good, man. We're still out here. We're still having a great time. Nobody's dead. We haven't gone to a hospital yet. We're not in a recovery mode.
No hospital.
So, I think that just kind of managing that, just goes a long way with managing the overall success of the trip. One thing I will say that kind of once we're getting home or kind of finishing up the trip, there's definitely lessons that can be learned from every trip. And how can you take that trip you just did and now apply it, what you learned and the experience you gained towards your next trip?
Sure. Absolutely.
And so I feel like, chatting, just getting around the next campfire, or calling into your favorite podcast to talk about, man, I had this trip and these things went really, really well. And we struggled in here. And I think that if we had planned better in this aspect, we could have helped mitigate those struggles.
Sure.
And then that's something you learn for next time, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that we as off-roaders typically are always trying to learn stuff. We're always trying to better ourselves and make the situation easier for ourselves in the future. I don't think too many people necessarily go out and be like, man, I wish that trip was a lot harder and I had to deal with more broken shit. Some people do.
Some people might.
But like, I would imagine most people are like, no, I want to learn something from that and make it better next time. And so being able to have those debriefs with your buddy and just being like, dude, yeah, that was awesome. That was a great trip. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. And that little thing we dealt with, like running out of water on the last day, could have been mitigated by taking a little bit more water, or maybe just not doing the dishes with our drinking water or something, like
bringing a filter.
There's lots of ways to help mitigate that, and learning from that and having those discussions and not taking those discussions personally, but treating them as an educational moment, right?
Yes.
A learning moment, which comes down to your mindset. Are you going to take it as somebody's criticizing the way you did something on the trip? Or are you going to take it as, okay, yeah, no, that totally wasn't ideal. And there's definitely things we could do with it.
Yeah.
So take it as a learning moment and apply it to future trips to make life easier for you. So,
Yep. I agree. I have like 2 bonuses for after the trip.
okay.
I'll say mine. And if you think of anything in the meantime, you can let it go. Let's see. Bonuses I like to say is, as you're driving home, I always, especially if the assistant's there, but usually I do a mental one. If the assistant's there, I can have her put it in my phone or write it down, is to log things that either one needs to be fixed or things you need to add to your camping supplies.
Yep.
Right. So maybe you're like, we ran out of paper towels. Like we need to add more paper towels, to make a list where we need to add paper towels before the next time we go camping or after you get home, like the day when you're tearing things apart and, putting things away, maybe you need to add paper towels then. Right. So keep a mental list at minimum. I would highly suggest you to write it down somewhere, but just talk about like, what repairs does the vehicle need? What other camping gear do you need to fix or add? Or what things did you maybe not use that you don't need to bring on another trip? That's some ideas. Another bonus is for the big group is if somebody, and usually the assistant does this for us and our groups, is if somebody starts like a Google shared drive that everybody can then dump their photos and videos into, then it's an easy way to share and get everybody's photos, so that if like I have a bunch of photos of Tyler while he's driving, Tyler gets a bunch of photos of me while I'm driving. Well, instead of just sending them directly to Tyler, you can upload them, then everybody can kind of have them. And it's an easy way, one spot, instead of saying like, I sent Tyler's photos, I sent Nick photos, I sent Lee photos, I sent MF or Ryan photos. They can just all go to the drive and then pull whatever photos out that they want. Yeah,
those are 2 really good ones. I do the list thing during the camping. So if we run out, I immediately pull out my phone and I have a little notepad for camping supply stuff.
We try to do that too, but sometimes it's just like, if you're driving home from Doozy and you got like a 6-hour drive ahead of you, at least for us, that's not a bad time to just talk about some of those things.
Yep, for sure. I like those. Those are 2 really good items, and I don't think I have anything more to add to them. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I thought this was a in-depth topic. We didn't think it would go this long at all. And it just goes to show that there's a lot of stuff that goes into trip planning. Yeah. And our pretty much one episode after we wrote things down, which we thought was going to go into 2 episodes, which turned into 3 episodes. It just shows how much stuff there is and how much things you need to deal with. And like, if it's a simple like weekend trip, half these things you might not need to do necessarily. But if it's going to be a long in-depth trip, then maybe you need to consider most all of them. Also take and choose whatever you want. Maybe you don't care that much and you're just going to go out and play and have fun and see how it goes. And we'll get your SOS at one point.
Yeah. We'll get the SOS from your avalanche beacon.
Yeah. No,
probably not. All right, cool. That does it then for trip planning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of 3-part series. Again, sorry, the first part was much earlier on than the last 2 parts there. But we'll have it in the show notes for you guys, where to find the other 2 parts at. I think that about does it. Make sure you guys check out the giveaways going on every month. Leave us a review, all that good stuff. You want to call in, leave us some feedback on the 3-part series here. You can do that as well. 916-345-4744 is the phone number. It's a voicemail. It doesn't ring for us. It just goes to voicemail. So leave us a voicemail anytime, any day, whatever. I think that does it, Jimmy.
That sounds good to me. That was fun.
Cool. It was a lot of fun. Any words to wrap up the episode then?
Oh, I would say, I think just having fun is probably how I want to close it. I think, if you're going, having fun also shows that, if you're having a good time, then the people around you are probably going to be having a good time too. And I think just having fun is a good motivation for an entire trip. It raises the morale is sort of what I guess I'm going for, but have fun.
Cool. I like it. And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Okay. Mhm.
How much room is needed for a fungi to grow?
I don't know.
As much room as possible.
Uh-huh.
You on Good Day, they at least do a pity laugh.
Ha 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 ha.
Thank you.